Good morning. Hi, Jackie. Look, I'm going to make these rolls before I do my encouragement this morning for that first rise. And maybe by the time I come on or I get ready to go off for the encouragement, the dough will have risen and then you can see what it looks. Yes, I'm a girl this every day. Girl, I don't have no choice. Married to Dr. Woodard. Good morning. Good morning. So, how are you guys doing? Great. So, I'm putting this apron on because I got on black, and when you're dealing with flour. Good morning, Marianne. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, even though there's only a couple of you on. So, I'm on all the platforms. So, whichever one is working for you the best, you can go to that one. But I got to get these rolls ready because I got to get Truth Seeker her birthday gift. And Jackson is going to be looking at me sideways if I don't have no rolls today. So I got to get that first rise in so that then I can form the rolls and then get the second rise and then bake them. Okay. All right. So I've got my standing mixer over here. This is my retro standing mixer that works absolutely excellent. Works absolutely excellent. Let me pull this over this way. Instagram so that they can see me. Okay, so this is my standing mixer right here. But I start with 7.5 cups of unbleached flour, and this is for a large batch. This is the recipe I use because whenever I make rolls, I make a lot. 7.5 cups of unbleached flour. In this small saucepan here, I'm going to add 1 cup of coconut milk, unsweetened coconut milk. 1 cup, put that over there. And to that, I'm going to add 3/4 cups of plant-based butter. So that's literally 1.5 sticks of plant-based butter. So I'm going to go ahead and place those in the pot with the coconut milk. And I'm going to put it on a medium heat because I don't want it to boil. I just want it to get to the point where it melts the plant-based butter in with the milk. And look at me turn on the wrong eye. That's the wrong eye. I need this eye. Okay. So I have here my dough hooks. Let me show you. These are the kind of hooks you need for dough. Okay, so hi unknown, good morning. How are you, darling? Okay, so yeah, these are my dough hooks. And so it's a different kind of hook for dough. This mixer was given to me, and it used to be in the kitchen of one of our church mothers who passed away, Grandma Ruby. It is a Sunbeam Mixmaster standing mixer. I was talking about I don't have a standing mixer, and her daughters were cleaning out her house after she passed away, and she was showing me pictures of different things in the kitchen, and well, I was talking about I didn't have a standing mixer, and she says, "You want a standing mixer?" And I said, "Yeah, I don't have one." And so she brought this one to me. It works better than any other standing mixer I've ever seen, even a KitchenAid. Okay, so um, I'm warming up this plant-based butter and milk. I've got 7.5 cups of unbleached flour in here. And I have 3 packs of yeast, 0.25. So that's the 3 little packages that come together. That's what I have right here. 3 packs of yeast, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of arrowroot for my egg substitute, 2 tablespoons of canola oil that's going to help make my arrowroot egg, 1/2 cup of water that's going to help make my arrowroot egg. And so these measurements are for 2 eggs. And then I have 3/4 cup of pure organic cane sugar. Hi, Tristan. Good morning. And let's see, what else do I have? And that's it. I'm going to need a cup of cold water. So I went ahead and refrigerated a cup of spring water, so it's nice and cold. And I think that's all. Those are all the ingredients. So the first thing I do is I add my cold water. 1 cup of cold spring water. 2 teaspoons of pink salt. 3/4 cup of organic, unrefined, granulated sugar. Okay. And then I go ahead and stir that up. I'm going to use this wire whisk because I've got my dough hooks on. So I'm just going to go ahead and stir that up real good so that sugar begins to dissolve in that water. So this is my sugar, my salt, and my cold water. All right, so that's pretty good for right now. So to make an arrowroot egg replacement with arrowroot, you need 1 tablespoon of the arrowroot, 1 tablespoon of oil, and 1/4 cup water. That equals 1 egg replacement when you're baking. And that's what I use for my egg replacement for the rolls. Good morning, Truth Seeker. Guess what I'm making, girl? Roll dough. Yes. So in this green bowl here, I have a cup of spring water. To that, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of arrowroot because I'm doing 2 eggs. So 2 tablespoons of arrowroot. And in this little cup here, I have 2 tablespoons of oil. And the oil I'm using this morning is canola. That's what I had. Okay, and then I'm just going to mix it very well. You're going to look at the consistency and say, that don't look like no egg. But, honey, it do the trick because my rolls are moist and fluffy. And so whatever this arrowroot does, it does a good job. It don't look like it's going to do nothing, but it does something. So it's very loose, very thin liquid. But if you know anything about arrowroot, it's a lot like cornstarch. Once you add some warm liquid to it, it begins to thicken. And so that's how it's able to replace your eggs that you typically put in your homemade rolls. All right, so I've mixed that up really well. I'm going to go ahead and add it to this mixture. This is my cold mixture. All right. So I got my cold mixture. To my cold mixture, I'm going to add my warm mixture, or really my hot mixture. So this is the 3/4 cups of plant-based butter with 1 cup of coconut milk. And I have allowed that to heat up until the butter has melted. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add this hot mixture to the cold mixture right here. Okay, keep stirring, keep stirring, keep stirring, keep stirring, keep stirring. All right. I guarantee you that sugar is dissolved in there now. Okay, make sure these eyes are off. So put that over here. Now the next thing I add is the yeast. Of course, you got to have the yeast. You've used flats. Yes, True Seeker. Yes, egg, you can use flaxseed egg as a substitute. But when you're doing homemade rolls, I particularly don't want to see the fibers of flaxseed in the rolls. So I use flaxseed in like maybe my carrot cake or some type of wheat bread, the golden flaxseed, milled flaxseed. And yes, it makes a wonderful egg, a wonderful egg. Another egg substitute, and I'm just going to throw this in here. You see, do I have it? Where's my egg substitute? Oh, there it is. Okay. So what I'm using this morning is Arrowroot by Bob's Red Mill. Arrowroot. Okay, 2 tablespoons of this. Well, 1 tablespoon of this, 1 tablespoon of oil, and a fourth a cup of water gives you 1 egg. All right, and then you have the egg replacer here by Bob's Red Mill, which is kind of a light, kind of off-white color. So if you're adding it to like cornbread and you want cornbread to look, like you added an egg, as opposed to something that's real fibrous like flaxseed, which is good. Yeah, Truth Seeker is good. I do use flaxseed eggs, but with rolls and like my cornbread, I want to use something that is appealing to the eye for my customers. So this Bob's Red Mill is another egg replacer. Okay, and so 1 tablespoon of this and 2 tablespoons of water. Real simple. Okay, Bob's Red Mill, I love all of his products. So I've got my mixture here. So the next thing I need to do is I need to activate my yeast here. So I'm going to run some warm tap water. I need a 1/2 cup of warm water. And when you're talking about warm, what you don't want to do is kill the yeast. So between 110 to 120 degrees, if you're new at baking rolls, you get your little thermometer and make sure that you're at 110. And this is my little food thermometer, 110 to 120 degrees. You don't want anything hotter than that because you will kill the yeast. Okay, so I'm going to activate it. And I've got me a 1/2 cup here. And I've been making rolls so long, I can touch the water and tell when it's 110 to 120 degrees. I don't have to use the thermometer. It takes this water a minute to warm up. I probably should have just gotten some spring water and put it in the microwave. But I'm so used to feeling the water. Okay, yep, that's about 110 degrees. So 110 degrees, warm water. I'm going to add it to the yeast here, and I'm going to stir that up until it's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to add it to the wet mixture. So I got the tip of my little wire whisk in this bowl right here. And I'm going to, of course, when you activate that yeast, you can smell it. It smells like you add Wonder Bread or Panera Bread. It's just the smell of the yeast lets you know that, hey, the rolls are coming. So mix that up really well. And then I'm going to add this to, I never knew you could cook rolls in 100-degree heat. No. No, I'm not making the rolls. I'm doing the yeast. So when you activate the yeast, you're not making the rolls. You use warm water, which should be measured at 110 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, I'm just talking about the yeast right now. The rolls will be baked at 405 degrees for 7 minutes. Okay, after that second rise. All right, so that's mixed up really well. I'm going to go ahead and add it to the wet mix. Okay, so I've got my wet mixture here. This is what it looks like. It has a creamy color. And these are all the ingredients except for, that's okay. I'm glad you asked because somebody else probably misunderstood me too. Okay, so I got that. All right, I'm going to add that. Now to this, I will gradually add, that one. Where's my lid? I'm going to need this. Okay. So I've got my 7.5 cups of flour right here. I'm going to go ahead and lower this. Put it at the lowest speed. So it's at the lowest speed. Let me make this just a little bit bigger. Okay. Sorry about that, Instagram. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so it's at the lowest speed. And what I do is I add 1 cup at a time. And I turn it while I'm adding. Now this is really 7.5 cups, but I'm just adding it in scoops, not necessarily in cups. Okay, so now I'm going to go around the sides of the bowl and push that dough over to that dough hook. Like so, like that. It smells amazing. It smells just like bread. Let's see here. I need something to put this on. I'm going to add some more dough, flour. Y'all, I used to do this by hand before I had a standing mixer. I couldn't use my hand mixer because it just wasn't strong enough for the dough. So I had to stir my roll dough with my elbow strength. Okay, it's getting there. I got just a little bit more flour. And I need to put it in there. And this is forming really nice. So that's 7.5 cups of flour. This will make me about 5 cans of the big rolls, which is cool. So I'm mashing the dough into the dough hooks, and it's starting to get real thick, pulling away from the sides, which means it's nice and red. Yes, indeed. Oh, wow. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it off and get all this dough off these hooks. Okay. All right. So I take this bowl right here. I'm going to get rid of all the excess flour. Make sure I have my lid here. I got this bowl, it's got the flour in here, but look what I'm going to do. I have Luann coconut oil spray. And so I spray the bowl so that when the dough rises, and I spray the lid too. When the dough rises, it won't stick to the bowl, and I can easily get it out. But here you have your roll dough. Okay. And I'm going to make sure I fold all the flour that's there. Now, one thing about when you do egg replacement, your dough is a little more sticky. But you can handle it by just wetting your hands a little bit or flouring your hands, and it'll be just fine. And it has you can control it better when it's cold than when it's just warm. Okay, so I'm going to put the dough right into this bowl. It don't want to come out because it's very sticky. There we go. We're going to let it do that first rise. I'll make sure I get all of it. Okay. Okay, so here it is in the bowl. This is what it looks like now. By the time I come on for my live, for my encouragement, it probably will have doubled in size. So I've got to put this airtight lid on it. I'm going to set it in the refrigerator and let it rise for the first time. And I'm going to punch it down form my rolls, let it rise. Let the rolls rise for the second time. And then I'm going to put them in the oven and bake them. Hallelujah. I think for this will last for 3 days in the refrigerator in an airtight container. So if you want to just make a few rolls and go back, got 3 days to do it. It'll last for months if you put it in the freezer. Okay. All right. So there you have it. I'm going to take it over here and put it in the fridge. And let that rise. You got to reorganize this refrigerator. Okay, so there you have it. That's how you make the roll dough. I will see you all back in about 20 minutes for our encouragement. And thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this video.